Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Much Ado About Gaming. My name is Jessa Blackthorne, and I am so happy to finally be back. We took a little bit of a break at the end of last year, and we are back. We are better than ever, and I am so excited for this show. To everyone who's here watching, thank you so much. Please feel free to interact in the live chat. If you have a question about anything you're about to hear about today, just type question in all caps and then your question, and that's just so I make sure that I see it. And I'm happy to answer any questions that I'm able to answer. Anything that I can answer, I will be able to tell you. But please feel free to chat, feel free to interact. I'm so happy to have you here. So excited. So let me give you a little bit of information about what's in store for today's show. So the plan for today is we're going to talk about some of the first few games WizKids is coming out with in 2021. Just kind of give you a brief overview so you can have, an idea of what's coming, talk about maybe games that we want to bring more attention to so that you know more about them, you learn a little bit, and then at the end of the show, we are going to have the big announcement that we have been teasing on social media. I am so excited to be the one to announce this. It's going to be so cool. I'm so happy. But first, we are going to talk about the first few WizKids games of 2021. And I hope everyone had a safe and healthy and happy new year. This is the first show of 2021. It's going to be a great year. I'm so excited for all the content I'm going to be bringing you over the next, 52 weeks. 51 weeks? It's 52 weeks, but I'm not sure if there's an extra week this year, but that doesn't matter. I am so excited. We're going to have a great time today. Thank you so much for being here, and let's get started. I love that jazzy little intro. So our first game that I'm going to be talking about today is called Cedars from Ceres Exodus. Ceres or Series, I'm not really sure. So this is really, really cool. So this is a localization of a French game that came out a few years ago, and it was very, very popular, and we have taken on this game, and we are bringing it to an English audience, and we're really excited to share it with you because it got a lot of hype, but it didn't really make it to English-speaking crowds, so we're excited to bring it to you. To give you an idea of what Cedars from Ceres is, an explanation of the name, Dwayne, thank you so much for your question. This is not going to be about HeroClix today. We are not talking about HeroClix at all. This is a board game show. Sometimes V on her show Mini Mayhem on Wednesdays does talk about HeroClix, so check that out. But today we are talking about board games. So Cedars from Ceres is a really cool, it's a transmedia science fiction universe, and it's been created over 5 years by Serge Madagascar and Charbel Forel. And it contains post-humans, space opera, extensive journeys on space arcs, lost empires, exobiology, and genetic evolution. It's so cool. It's so interesting. It's a really unique take on the sci-fi genre. And this is a board game set in that universe. It's called Episode 1 Exodus. I believe we are just calling it Cedars Exodus for the English release. But players are the Cedars. So the Cedars is kind of the term for, it's kind of like humanity, and their existence is being threatened by an unknown force. So in the game, they have to build arcs, which are giant colony ships, in order to escape and ensure their survival. And so kind of the way the game works is you're trying to build the best possible colony ship by creating the most promising ship design. And the way that works is that each round, cards are drafted onto the table, and players are going to use their negotiators to score influence over those cards, so they're trying to win those cards and pick them up so that they can use them in building their arc. So they can either, use those cards they represent different ship components, so they can use those cards in their ships, or they can kind of scrap those cards and take the resources from them and use them to build something all new. So that's really cool. It's really interesting. It's such a cool game. And also, actually, what's really cool is your goal is to kind of have the most synergy between your cards, and I mean that's the goal for any board game, but this one the synergy really comes into play because players have asymmetrical powers, so those powers can affect the way they'll want to use their cards and the way that, you know, certain cards will benefit them more than others, and that really adds a new level onto the game. It's 2 to 4 players. It is going to be $74.99, and we are expecting this to release in March. And let me tell you how gorgeous this game is. You can kind of see it in the pictures to my right, but it is stunning. There is gorgeous sci-fi art on every single card. There's so much gameplay depth. Samples of this are going out to reviewers right now, so you will be able to see, you know, how much is going on with this game, how gorgeous it is. Just keep an eye out for those reviews. Of course, we'll be sharing them on social media, so keep an eye there. I believe one is actually coming out today with our friends at Rolling Dice and Taking Names. So check that out. And we are so excited. You are building the ship that is humanity's last hope. It is up to you, and you're going to save the day because you're great. And that is, of course, Cedars from Ceres Exodus. Like I said, it's releasing in March, and please check it out. You're going to have a great time with it. If you love sci-fi, if you love kind of auction bidding games or games where you get to build ships, this is the perfect game for you. You have an awesome time, and we are very excited. Next game up is one of my favorites. Fantasy Realms was a hit of ours a few years ago. It is, of course, the acclaimed card game from Bruce Glasgow. It was actually the game that introduced me to the existence of WizKids as a company, and then I got a job here, you know, a little while later. So the fact that I get to talk about the Fantasy Realms expansion is really, really cool. So this is the Cursed Horde. It is an expansion for Fantasy Realms, so you do need the base game to be able to use it. So the 3 to 6 players that you see up above my head there, that's for the base game. Just to give you a sense of how many players it does need to play Fantasy Realms. But this is an expansion. And so what it is the Cursed Horde adds 2 new modular expansions that you can use together in your base game of Fantasy Realms, or you can add them separately. So if you like one of them but don't like the other one for whatever reason, you're totally okay to only use one of them. Ministry of Dice, I love Fantasy Realms too. It's one of my favorite games. I love it so much. It's so fun. It's so simple. If you're not familiar with Fantasy Realms, just to kind of give you a quick overview, in Fantasy Realms you're trying to build the most powerful realm by creating synergy in your hand and creating the best possible hand. So each turn, really simple, you draw a card, you discard a card, but the interesting thing is that when you discard a card, it doesn't just go away, it goes into a discard pile in the center of the table, and then when you draw a card during your turn, you can draw from that discard pile. So it creates a little bit more strategy because, you know, if you think your opponent is building a hand that could use this card and that they could, you know, get a ton of points with the card that you want to discard, you have to think twice about discarding. And it's not just anymore, you know, throwing away a card you don't want. Is, I know I don't want this card, but what if somebody else does? And that's a really cool thing. So what the expansion does is, like I said, it's got 2 modular expansions. So the first one up is Cursed Items, and that adds an entirely new deck of cards. And players can take one of these new cards, which you can see next to me, whenever they want, and they have powerful effects. So they can give you a double turn, they can let you hide the cards that you're discarding, so your opponents don't know what they are. You can skip your discard phase entirely, so you get an extra card on your turn. But they're not all great, because at the end of the game, they actually give you negative points, and the more powerful the effect, the greater the negative points are. So you can see at the bottom on the spyglass, or here on the lantern, how it says -10. That's because it's worth -10 points at the end of the game. So they're powerful, but they're also, they hurt if you're not ready to deal with the consequences. But they're really cool. They really change the game. They make it extra fun. And then, of course, the other expansion adds 3 new suits that you can add to the game. There's no real name for this, but it's 3 new suits that you can add to your copy of Fantasy Realms. They are buildings, which will allow you to develop your realm. They are the outsiders, who, like the angel in the front here, who are powerful and can really change how you play the game. And then, of course, you can also raise the undead, which is a fun new suit. You know, people have been asking about it for years, and we thought, why not add it this time? but it's going to be really exciting. They're such great additions. They really add to the flavor of Fantasy Realms, so we're so thrilled to be able to add them to this game. It's so much fun. So the expansion is $14.99. It is releasing next month in February, and we are so thrilled to be able to bring it to you. Really, if you want to change up your games of Fantasy Realms. And I should also mention there is actually a free app. So one of the things that I know can be a challenge for a lot of people, especially if you're math challenged like me, the math of kind of calculating who wins in Fantasy Realms, there is actually a free app on both the Google Play Store and the App Store on Apple that can actually calculate the winner of your Fantasy Realms games for you and score out your cards. So check it out, because it's really great. Ministry of Dice, I am not sure. It probably can. I think it's just that the 3 to 6 is like the stated like player count, and that because the 2-player is a variant. So I will find that out for you, and I will post about it when I know more, so that you will know. And I will mention it because we're going to do an episode dedicated to this, because of course we are. I would love to talk about Fantasy Realms. I would talk about Fantasy Realms all day long, but I will find that out for you. So I will post about it. Keep an eye on the WizKids social media, and I will do my best to get you an answer as soon as possible on that. Yeah, Fantasy Realms The Cursed Horde, $14.99. Like I said, it's coming out in February. Check out the WizKids app on the App Store if you want help scoring your game of Fantasy Realms. You can literally just input all of the cards in your hand, and it will tell you your score. So it makes it so much easier. It takes a lot of the stress out of scoring at the end of the game. And we're really excited. So next up is something I'm really excited for. Waddle! Also known as Waddle Downtown. I believe it's Waddle Downtown on BGG. I am so excited for this game. It looks so cute, guys. I am so happy this is coming. It is adorable. So, in this game, you are trying to guide adorable penguins on a sightseeing trip around the city. How great is that? How cool does that sound? It's going to be so much fun. We're so excited. Just to kind of talk about the back end of the game a little bit, because, you know, Adorable Penguins is, to me, Adorable Penguins is the ultimate selling point. I will buy anything with Adorable Penguins, but I'm sure you want to know about the designers and the gameplay. I got you. So this was designed by Isaac Shalev and Rafe Koster. If you're into video games, Rafe's name might sound familiar. He was the lead designer of Ultima Online and the creative director behind Star Wars Galaxies, and this is kind of his first major foray into board games. So that's really exciting and really interesting to have somebody with that level of pedigree working on this game. And then Isaac, of course, is a wonderful board game designer in his own right. He is the designer behind Seikatsu, which he co-designed with Matt Loomis. So we're really pleased to bring these two great designers together on this game. It's very exciting. Mike Pugh, the release dates that we're quoting are for US. It really depends on worldwide release dates, but the general release date is in North America. But do keep an eye, because usually the release dates worldwide aren't too far off, but shipping has been kind of strange lately with the pandemic and everything going on. So sometimes there is a little bit of a delay, but the release dates themselves that I am quoting right now are for the US. So, Waddle. In Waddle, like I said, you're guiding these cute little penguins. I get so happy when I look at the penguins. It's kind of distracting, I'm sorry. Players will move the penguins around to different locations in the city, or, you know, you already have penguins, you can move the penguins you already have on the board, or you can bring new penguins in from out of town. And the goal of the game is you're actually trying to take the patterns that you'll have on your hand of cards and trying to replicate them with the penguins. And as you replicate each of those patterns, you score points. Look how cute he is in his little bow tie! Okay, I need to stop. I'm sorry. I just can't get over how cute the penguins are. You're trying to score points by replicating the patterns on display by the penguins. In terms of age recommendation, I think it's 14 plus because it does have some small pieces where the little penguin figures. I don't know if they're technically meeples. I would consider them meeples. but the little penguin figures are small. You have the small tokens, so I think it's 14 plus. But again, I can absolutely find that out for you and let you know. But at the end of a set number of rounds, the player with the most points wins the game. It's really a great pattern movement game, pattern building game. You're trying to match the patterns on your cards, trying to replicate them to win points, and it's a very simple game, but it's got a lot going on because you have I'm running out of words here because I'm so excited about the penguins. There's a lot going on with this game. I promise. It's great. I will do a show about it and talk about it in more detail because I want to talk about this game more. Here, I can show you here with the cards. The patterns aren't just, 1, 2, 3. It could be score with penguins on odd numbers or, score with certain colors. So it does have an extra element of strategy going on. The playtime is 30 minutes, I believe. It's 30-minute gameplay. It might be closer to 20, but I'm not 100% sure. But yes, so that is the playtime. So Waddle is releasing next month in February. We are so excited. I am so excited. If I say I'm so excited one more time, I'm gonna need to go run away because I'm excited about everything. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be talking about these games because these games are so exciting and so cool. And that is Waddle. Like I said, designed by Isaac Shalev and Rafe Koster. Great game, 2 to 4 players, and it's going to be a $29.99 price point. Wonderful option if you want something fun and light, but still with some depth. And next up, Jinja. So I believe it's actually pronounced Jinja, but Jinja is a colorful worker placement game. It incorporates light area control elements as well. So in Jinja, you are trying to build shrines across Japan using the deed cards, which are kind of the recipes for your shrines, so they kind of tell you how you need to build the shrines. And your goal is to place workers at key locations around the country to build those shrines by using the components listed on the deed cards. So the game board is absolutely gorgeous. It features a stunning illustration of Japan, and the game takes place over 5 seasons as you're building shrines and working towards different goals. The game has a ton of replayability because you don't only have the general goal of building the shrines on your deed cards, but you also have secret goals known as omikuji, which are fortunes, and if you complete those secret goals, you score bonus points, particularly if your shrines are on key locations. So there are also event cards which are flipped over every round. They are represented by kitsune, and they can affect different details of the game. This beautiful game has gorgeous art, gorgeous components. You can really see in the photos that I'm sharing over on the side how absolutely stunning this game is. It's influenced by ancient Japanese art. It's very reminiscent of, the cultural aspects of feudal Japan, and we're very excited. It's very exciting. We really tried to take very good care to represent everything not only accurately but beautifully, because it really deserves that kind of attention, and it's so stunning, and we're so proud of it. This will also get its own show very soon. Everything I'm talking about is going to get its own show. I don't know why I have to keep saying that. I shouldn't keep saying that. Everything is getting its own show. Everything is great, and we're happy about everything. The game is breathtaking. It's got a stunning table presence, like I said, because that game board is so gorgeous. And it's got very complex gameplay, but it's very, very accessible. So, a lot of people are scared of complexity or put off by more complex games because they can kind of, you look at the rule book and you're like, oh my god, there's so much going on here. But what's really cool about Jinja is it still has that level of accessibility, so it's not as intimidating as sometimes very complex games can be, especially games that are in, those traditional board game genres like worker placement, like area control. So this is a really great step into one of those genres for someone maybe who doesn't necessarily always play those more complex, more traditional board games. So this is releasing in April. It's for 2 to 5 players, and it'll be $49.99. And that is, of course, Jinja. And next up, we have one that I'm sure, yes, no penguins though. Everything is better with penguins, but the kitsune are cool. So I'm happy with the kitsune. Next up, of course, is a game that everyone's very excited for. I'm very excited for it. I am so happy to talk about it. And that is Clash of Cultures. Of course, Clash of Cultures, the classic game of exploration, expansion, and development. We are releasing an all-new edition of it, the Monumental Edition, and we have got so much cool stuff going on in the Monumental Edition of Clash of Cultures, and we are absolutely thrilled to be bringing it to you. See, I used a new word. I didn't use excited this time. I used thrilled. So this, you can see all of the updates here, but it includes a ton of brand new updates, really, seeking to bring the game into its most perfect state. We have fully sculpted minis of the 7 Wonders, all new cover art on the box, new graphic design, and of course we're also incorporating the highly sought after Civilizations expansion and the Aztecs expansions. So a lot of people, really wanted those expansions and they were very hard to find, so we're so happy to be able to include them in the box, in the base game, so everything is just together in one. And that's really cool and really something we're pleased to be able to do, for you. And let me tell you about the number of components in this game, y'all. There are so many components. We have, you're seeing it next to me right here. Right there, you're seeing it. There are over 300 resculpted buildings, units, and ships. There are 7 uniquely sculpted wonders, like I said. There are over 150 cards, 200 plus cubes, and hundreds of tokens. And there are more components than that. Those are just the components that I wanted to list. There are a ton of components. And this is going to be, it's a big box, but it's got so much in it. It's so cool. This is absolutely, it's $149.99, but it is worth every penny. We've really taken a lot of care to make sure that this game is the absolute best that it can be, in the most perfect state it can be for you guys, because we know how excited you are for this. We are just as excited as you are for this. It is a huge game, and we have had to push it back in the past because we wanted to make sure everything was right for you, and we're so happy that we are able to bring it to you in, what we're bringing it to you as, in the really great condition, with the really great components, with the really great quality, the gorgeous new art, the gorgeous graphic design, everything that we're bringing to the table with this. We are so thrilled to be able to bring you those things. And it of course plays 2 to 4 players. This is a longer game, so it's definitely a 2+ hour game. So it's a game you sit down and you play, and it's something that will absolutely be worth your time, worth your money. We're so excited. Do you need a degree to play this? I don't think so. I think it's not hard to pick up. There's just a lot to play with, and that can kind of, again, I was talking about how more complex games can be intimidating, but this isn't a hard game to learn. I've looked over the rules. I haven't personally played the original game yet, and I'm going to be playing it when I get my copy. But I've read the rule book, and it doesn't seem like a hard game to learn. It seems very straightforward. It's got a lot of interesting things going on, but it is, it's easy to learn. It's easy to learn, just gotta pay attention. And a lot of games are like that, and a lot of great games are like that, and this is one of them. And that is Clash of Cultures Monumental Edition. That is releasing in May, so look out for this. A little later this year in May, we'll be talking a lot more about it, posting articles about it. We'll be, I'm sure, featuring it on the show at least a couple times more. to talk about it, but Clash of Cultures Monumental Edition. And that's our show. There's no announcement. I don't know what you're talking about. Just kidding. So, the big announcement, the thing that everyone's been waiting for, that we have been talking about for a couple days on our social media, and we are so excited to bring to you. Now, I'm going to preface this by, talking a little bit about a game we released last year that was a big hit. It got a lot of positive attention. It was on multiple top 10 lists, including, several top 10 lists from the Dice Tower. Drive Through Games, Game Boy Geek, Tantrum House, Shut Up and Sit Down recommended it, Man vs. Meeple recommended it. So, the game was a big hit, and that is, of course, Super Skill Pinball 4K from Jeff Engelstein. People really loved it. It's a roll and write tabletop pinball game, and it's something that we are very, very proud of. And so, we sat down, we got a lot of people asking this, what are you going to do next? Is there going to be another game in the series? And I am pleased to tell you that we are going to be bringing you later in 2021 Super Skill Pinball. Ramp it up. It is the second game in the Super Skill Pinball series. It is a standalone sequel. You do not need the base game to play it, and it is so exciting. It comes with everything you need to play. It features your favorite mechanics from the base game, including multi-ball, nudging, bumpers, everything. And we are bringing it to a brand new game. So this edition, this Super Skill Pinball Ramp It Up, the second game in the Super Skill Pinball series, there is nothing regarding Dice Masters or HeroClix going on today on this stream. I'm very sorry. Check out our social media. We do post about them all the time, and we keep an eye on our social media for any news or updates for Dice Masters or HeroClix. But Super Skill Pinball Ramp It Up features 4 new tables, of course, because you need 4 new tables every single time. We have the first table, which is called Go for Gold. It's themed around panning for gold, so you're a gopher trying to strike it rich, maybe in the Yukon. And that table features a log flume, a lost mine, and even an all-new extra flipper. So it has a really cool minigame that goes onto the back glass called Zev's Folly. Bonus points if you know where that name comes from. Where it's kind of a log flume to take it up to the lost mine and the falls. And it's really interesting and really fun and really cool. And we will be having a special preview of that table coming very, very soon, and we're very excited about that. The next table is called Pin Pals, and that is a wrestling themed table, but what's really cool about it is it's a tag team wrestling table. So you and another player partner up in teams of 2, and you activate bonuses for each other as you're playing. You build extra multipliers by going into the cage and battling it out with your opponents and trying to help each other succeed. So it's really cool. I played this one actually last week, and it was so much fun. It was so cool to be able to team up with another player. And, when you find, you hit a bonus, it's actually for your opponent, or it's actually for your teammate, and your teammate saying, oh, hey, by the way, you have multi-ball now. So that was really cool and really fun, and it added a new unexpected element to the game, and I really enjoyed that. The third table is called High Roller Heist. It is all the action of a casino caper packed into 2 rounds. So it's actually one of the fastest tables in Super Skill Pinball. So, if you want something that feels a little bit quicker and faster paced and more exciting, or rather it has more speed and energy, because I think all the tables are exciting, High Roller Heist is a great one. You recruit your crew. That is a hard sentence to say. Recruit your crew, you choose your targets, and then execute your plan without getting caught. You actually there's a lot of replayability with this table too, because it includes 3 different possible targets for your heist, and each of those is represented by a unique minigame on the back glass. So it's actually like 3 pinball tables rolled into one. It's not just one, so really there's 7 tables in this game, if you think about it. But so High Roller Heist is going to be really cool. And then the last table in the game is called Top Speed. You turn your pinball into a race car, and it presents an all-new challenge. You actually have adjustable speed, meaning you get to add 1, 2, or 3 to your dice rolls, building big numbers and even bigger bonuses. But you gotta be careful, because if you go too fast, even the flippers aren't gonna be able to catch you, and you could just roll right down. We are so excited. The tables are all so cool. Hi, Double B. There is not anything we have to announce at this time about Mage Night or the Mage Night board game. Of course, if we do plan to announce anything, our social media is going to be the best place to find that out, so just always keep an eye there. Keep an eye on our website, WizKids.com, for more information about that. Super Skill Pinball 4K Ramp It, not 4K, Ramp It Up is the subtitle. Super Skill Pinball, Ramp It Up. Like I said, it's a standalone sequel, so you don't have to have the original game to play it. If these tables sound personally more appealing to you than the first 4 tables in the original game, that's absolutely fine. You can pick this one up. It's got a lot of really fun, cool stuff going on. We will have a preview of the first table coming very, very soon. This will be releasing hopefully in September, generally in Q3. But it will be $24.99, and we are so pleased. Just kind of to show you, like, if you haven't seen the first game, this is what it looks like. So it's, you know, it's a nice small box size, so it's good to carry in like a backpack, and you can just kind of pull it out and play it, you know, whenever we can go to cafes again. You can go to a cafe and pull it out and play it. But it makes for really easy, you know, easy gameplay, very relaxed. Even though it's tense and exciting, it's also very relaxed, and I really like that about the game. So that is Super Skill Pinball, Ramp It Up. I'm gonna keep doing that. Yes, we are so excited. But thank you so much for watching the show. I gotta slide over here. Thank you so much for joining me for watching the show. I hope you are very excited for all of the games we have to offer in the first portion of 2021. We are so excited to have them available for you. Cedars from Cedars Exodus, Fantasy Realms The Cursed Horde, Waddle, Jinja, Clash of Cultures, and of course, Super Skill Pinball, Ramp It Up. Thank you so much for watching. We will have a new show for you next week. Please feel free to follow us on social media. We're WizKids or WizKids Games everywhere you can find us. Thank you, and I hope everyone has a great week. Make sure to shop local. There is a link right down below me here. You can go to that link and look for your local store. Shop online if you can't shop local, shop.wizkids.com, or visit us at wizkids.com. And make sure to check out V's show, Mini Mayhem, that plays at noon tomorrow live. She usually does some pretty cool D&D stuff, sometimes HeroClix, but a lot of the time it's D&D or Pathfinder. So be sure to check that out to learn more about, you know, all of our new upcoming RPG stuff or miniatures related stuff. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful week. Bye.